This represents the very best of this country.
And when we first reported on them at the beginning of this pandemic, the changing of the guard was socially distanced, but the profound meaning unchanged.
Present. Oh.
I can look out and see row upon row of headstones. Each one of those are heroes. There's also heroes that are on the front lines and they're first responders. I think the beautiful thing with this country and in this moment is that during great times of struggle, we've always came together. We've always came out stronger.
One more day of paying tribute up close tomorrow. Good night.
I want to say something.
Jealousy.
He's not showing you the effort that you deserve.
Comes straight for Nate.
I came in on my white horse and I saved her.
Let's go for talk, bro.
New Bachelorette, ABC.
Now on KZI 9 News at 6, Egan Warming Center is holding a special training session for their volunteers tonight. What they're doing to keep everyone safe coming up.
Also, protesters showed up on the first day of Lane County's pediatric vaccination clinic, but that did not stop kids from getting their shots. What health officials are doing to make parents and children feel more comfortable.
And local farmers are out with some advice for families planning to cook a Thanksgiving meal this year. The ripple effect that could have you paying more for a turkey and all the trimmings. That's KZI 9 News at 6 starts now.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News at 6.
Pediatric COVID-19 vaccines have finally hit Lane County after lengthy conversations at the federal and state level. Thanks for joining us. I'm Matt Templeman.
And I'm Renee McCullough. 5 to 11-year-olds started to roll up their sleeves today for the first public health clinic, easing concerns of some parents, while protesters showed up hoping to persuade them to reconsider. Here's KEZI 9 News reporter Ariel Yakabazi.
There's a lot that goes into putting together a vaccine clinic, especially for kids.
A big day for the little ones in Lane County. 5 to 11-year-olds started getting their shots today at the Lane Event Center, where only pediatric vaccines will be available for the time being.
We've transformed this place into something that's very child-friendly.
Anne Marie Levis, a spokesperson for Lane County Public Health, says there is a lot that goes into getting a clinic ready, especially for kids.
We're trying to make this a really great, enjoyable experience for the families and the kids.
Lane County public health officials tell me 124 kids were slotted to get their shots today here at the Lane Event Center, and they expect between 400 and 500 more every single day as the week goes on.
We've had a lot of anticipation and excitement. I think it's been the general sentiment that's been going around that
at Eugene Pediatric Associates, families in the practice are on a wait list. Dr. Ross Newman says he expects vaccines to be rolled out in the hundreds.
We anticipate giving hundreds of doses just in this initial first week, given really good reception of it for a lot of people have been waiting for it to feel safer with their children going to school and being in activities again.
While it is a big day for some parents, not everyone is in agreement with the shots. Protesters showed up to the Lane Event Center handing out flyers like this one, warning them of myocarditis. The clinical trials in 5 to 11-year-olds did not see any cases of myocarditis. According to a CNN medical analyst, this condition is, in theory, still a possible risk, but expected to be extremely rare. And over in public health, Levis tells me there are some things parents should keep in mind if they decide to get their children vaccinated at a Lane County public health clinic.
We have all of our appointments booked out for this week. We will open up our scheduling app again on Friday morning for people to get next week's appointments.
Reporting in Eugene, I'm Ariel Yakabazi, KEZI 9 News.
Ariel, thank you. More American adults could soon be eligible for an extra layer of protection against COVID. Pfizer is now requesting FDA emergency use authorization for its booster shot for people 18 and older. This comes as more vaccine mandates go into effect across the country, and a legal battle is brewing on Capitol Hill. The Justice Department is asking the U.S. Court of Appeals to lift the temporary block on President Biden's mandate requiring employees at all businesses with 100 or more workers to get vaccinated.
The administration wouldn't have put these requirements in place if they didn't think that they were appropriate and necessary, and the administration is certainly prepared to defend them.
The deadline for federal workers to get the vaccine is less than 2 weeks away, and experts fear it could have a major impact on the travel industry ahead of the holidays. The Egan Warming Center is scheduled to open up their low barrier stations next week.
And tonight they are hosting a de-escalation training for volunteers to keep everybody safe. And KEZI 9 News reporter Chris Lindsay is live in Eugene with more on what the organization is hoping to accomplish. Chris?
Matt, Renee, because those warming centers scheduled to open up on November 15th are low barrier, that means essentially anyone is welcome inside the space as long as they are not a risk to the people around them. This means that staff and volunteers will have to do their part to keep everyone safe. And that's one of the main reasons for their de-escalation training tonight. That training is scheduled to last for about 90 minutes and it will be held over Zoom. It's designed to teach volunteers and staff members how to deal with guests and possible crises that may arise and put others at risk. The event is organized by Egan Warming Center along with Whiteberg Clinic and Cahoots. Tim Black with St. Vincent de Paul says the priority is to make sure the conditions inside the warming centers are as welcoming as possible so people will use them.
On those nights when you could die from being outside, that there's an alternative, that you have a place that you can go to be inside and safe and warm that night, get a warm dinner, get breakfast in the morning. That's our only purpose at Egan Warming Center, is to keep those people alive, one night at a time.
They have not set the specific locations for the actual warming centers just yet, but they will open up when the area hits 30 degrees, and they'll also let the public know 48 hours ahead of time. Black says they do have additional training protocols and onboarding protocols for the staff members and the volunteers. However, they felt like this was a necessary step in addition to that. Reporting live in Eugene, Chris Lindsay, KZI 9 News.
Now, your first forecast with meteorologist Matt Guntarek.
Well, good evening, everybody. After a cloudy, rainy night and morning, looks like we actually had a few breaks of sunshine today, but fog and cloud cover is going to be back tomorrow morning, and some of us might see some patchy fog. Not all of us, but some of those areas that did see some clearing tonight, expect some patchy fog to develop late tonight into Wednesday morning. Now, the biggest concern that I have and the National Weather Service is kind of looking at right now is some flooding concerns up north into Portland, but just shy of our northern viewing area. So Corvallis, you could be on the cusp right there of seeing some flooding late Wednesday night into Thursday. Nothing of major concern, but some really localized areas could see some standing water on the grounds. But as we head into the weekend, things actually change. We might be seeing some dry conditions. Definitely going to have some clouds, but you'll see some, maybe a few breaks of sunshine Saturday and Sunday. So here's tomorrow. The storm threats, really not expecting much lightning, although we could see some lightning up towards Washington and Oregon, but we're going to focus on that flooding because we do have that moderate chance to maybe see some of that flooding again from all this moisture that's starting to push in here as soon as tomorrow. So that's our next system. All this lightning is actually caused by that system that moved through last night and this morning, and that's pretty much done with. And we see a few maybe showers, just the tail end of the system. That's exactly what we're seeing. So up north, just along I-5 into Corvallis, a few sprinkles here, possible for the rest of the night, but we're going to stay dry tonight. Rain moves in late Wednesday. How much are we expecting? Because rain totals are looking pretty good. We'll talk about that coming up.
Matt, thank you very much. $1.2 billion could soon be filling the pockets of agencies across the state, and that boost might be felt in your own backyard.
Yeah, the $1 trillion infrastructure bill still needs to be signed by President Biden, and as KZI 9 News reporter Kennedy Dendy found out, it could have a big impact on Oregon for years to come.
We're always looking for areas where we can have improved funding so we can make our city safer, more connected.
Brian Richardson with Eugene Public Works says any opportunity to put the community's concerns into action is a step in the right direction.
We know that our community cares about safety.
The coordinator with the Safe Lane Transportation Coalition agrees.
The infrastructure bill couldn't have come along at a better time because pedestrian fatalities and severe injuries over the last 10 years has risen, unfortunately, at an alarming rate.
ODOT expects to receive more than $1 billion in transportation funding, and that cash would go toward projects that benefit drivers, cyclists, and also pedestrians. That's out of a total of $110 billion. But what does this mean for the workforce? I'm told the promise is that millions of jobs will open up if this bill is signed. But another sector that could feel a boost, agencies that manage your drinking and wastewater. $55 billion there. April Miller with the Metropolitan Wastewater Management Commission shared her thoughts.
And ultimately, protecting the environment and our community's health, which is really comes down to our mission, and ensuring that we're returning clean water to the Willamette River and, protecting the community overall.
Her agency is a partnership between Eugene and Springfield. Think pipes and pumps, but that's far from all. Let's talk about internet access, especially for those in rural communities. $65 billion.
That basically means you have new broadband infrastructure that is built by people in your community that makes sure it gets to places that have been left behind.
Again, President Biden is expected to sign the bill this week. Reporting in Eugene, Kennedy Dindy, KZI 9 News.